All right, perfect. All right, so this class is prep to get paid. We're going to go through commands, compliance, and commissions. All right, so if I move to the next screen here, I really want you to think about this process as a three-step process, right? First is going to be documents, okay? And that's going to be the actual aspect of getting together all of your contract documents. Where we're going to focus today is kind of steps 2 and 3, right? So steps 2 and 3. So DocuSign class, in terms of getting your documents and actually getting them filled out, those that's the DocuSign class. So today is going to be kind of 2 and 3. So we're going to go over compliance, right? Required documents will be submitted to your compliance coordinator for approval. And then the last step there is, again, filling out your commissions tab, which is the replacement for the green sheet. Now, hopefully you will see it's very streamlined. So you're no longer having to go to dotloop and then back over to my KW. Everything's kind of right there in order. And I find that, again, if you do this once or twice, you get pretty used to this process, and a lot of our teams are already starting to use it, even though it's not required yet for some of our different offices. Okay. So here's what we're going to cover today. Compliance review, right? So submitting your documents to the Market Center for approval. There's several ways to do this, and we'll go over those different ways. You can upload them as a PDF. So if someone sent you something, you needed to download it and upload it, you can upload it in. It can talk to your DocuSign room. So if you have a signed listing agreement in the DocuSign room, it can sync over. So we'll talk about different ways to submit your documents to the office for review. I'm going to show you some tips on document management. So I don't know if anyone on here, is anyone like me, a little disorganized sometimes, could use a little more organization when it comes to all their documents in a transaction, okay? There's the ability to create custom folders in the opportunity where you can store things like the home inspection report or the HOA documents, right? All those different things that maybe are not a contract document. I'll show you how you can create custom folders and keep everything there. So if a client calls you a year from now and says, hey, do you have that inspection report? There's a single point where you know you can go and see everything. So we're going to go over some of that document management. And then the commission request is really made up of these last 2 steps here, guys. So you're going to put in an offer, which is basically just the terms of the contract, right? You're going to put in the sales price, you know, how much the earnest money deposit is going to be, and that's in the offer section. And once you click accept on that, then your commission request opens up and you can just approve it. There's not much you have to do. Everything kind of auto fills from this section. All right, so we're going to go over these 4 steps in today's class. Any questions about what we're doing today? Anything about these 4 topics that I can kind of expand on before we get going? All right, be okay? All right. So let's go ahead and share a command screen. Before we do, I want everyone to realize we're going to go through this step by step, but a few things in here. When we get into the opportunity, the documents tab is where all of the compliance checklists live. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So when you're in an opportunity, it's going to be the documents tab is what we're going to be looking for. All right, so let me go ahead and stop share my screen real quick and pull up a command screen, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so everyone should be able to see my command screen. Yes, pretty good. All right, perfect. All right, so kind of give me a feel here, and feel free to speak up. It's definitely okay if we have to go back to the very beginning. Does everyone know what an opportunity is? Well, let me ask it this way: is there anyone on here that doesn't understand what an opportunity is? All right, everyone has a general idea.
I think that one of us, most of us do, but it would be great for the new agents, including me, to go through the definition again, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So when to get to your compliance checklist, right, you're going to create what's called an opportunity. Okay, so we're going to go through the process of creating that today. The precursor to creating an opportunity is you must have that contact in your command system, right? So when you create an opportunity, it must be linked to somebody. So creating the contact is actually step number 1. So let me use Sandy as an example today. Sandy, if that's okay. I see you right here in the middle of my screen. Let's say I meet Sandy at an open house, and she's considering buying a house. And she said, hey, I think I'd love to work with you. I say, great. Let's go through the process. All right, so that's where the story is going to start. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to go to my contacts and I need to create Sandy as a contact if she's not already in my system. All right, now I know that I've got Sandy here in my database because we worked together for a long time. So she's already here. However, if she was not, I would click on add contact in the top right corner here and add her name. That's the only thing that's required is the name, but I highly suggest you also add in the email address and some other details. Okay. So at a minimum, we're going to create the contact. Now I've got Sandy that is in my system. Everybody good with that? Okay. The second step is we're going to create an opportunity with Sandy. So there is a section here in command that is called opportunities, and we're going to select that. So it's the two hands shaking here. Now, we've been teaching this for a couple years, so hopefully some of this looks familiar to you. And if not, right, we've got some great videos, and I'm happy to help you one-on-one in really understanding this if you need to take a deeper dive. So now we're in the opportunity section. And to kind of define an opportunity, this isn't every lead shouldn't have an opportunity, right? But if I have a serious conversation with someone about buying or selling real estate, that is kind of the definition of an opportunity. So Sandy says you want to work together. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to click on create opportunity again in the top right-hand corner. Make sure the Zoom video is not over top of that for you on your screen. I'll click create opportunity. Now this part is very important. When I come in here, for most of you, it should default to the market center that you're in. Okay, I'm a part of several market centers. So in this case, I'm going to select Fairfax Gateway. That's the market center where this opportunity is going to be. This is a very important part right here in the middle. It says opportunity type. Is this a listing, a buyer, a landlord, and a tenant? And I want to pause here for just a second. This is very important because the selection you make determines the compliance checklist that you will see. Meaning if I select listing, it's asking for the listing agreement, right? The deport disclosure and those documents. If I select buyer, it's asking for the buyer agency agreement and your mortgage disclosure and those types of documents. All right. You cannot change it once you create the opportunity. Right. So hopefully, make sure you do this correctly, or if you catch it right away, just delete that opportunity and come in and create it in the right side so that you are kind of working on the right side. All right. So in this case, we said the story was going to be you are a buyer, Sandy. So I'd go ahead and click on buyer. And then here it says client, and I'm going to search for her name. So you can see this is why she needs to be in my database first, because I have to be able to select her. So I've got Sandy right here. I have you in twice. I know I do actually. I'll select this profile for you. The only other thing that's required on the screen is the commission rate, and this would be your commission rate for working with Sandy. So not total commission. So maybe I think I'm going to make 2.5%. That's what goes into that box right there. All right. These other boxes have to do with the pipeline tool in the background. That's more of the transaction management side of opportunities, right? I've got some great classes on that. We're going to stay focused on the compliance aspect of opportunities in today's class. So that's what these other boxes here apply to, right? So once I fill out market center, opportunity type, client, and commission rate, I can then click create opportunity. Let's go ahead and freeze there for just a second. Any questions on creating contacts, creating the opportunities, and getting to the screen that you're looking at right now, which we're going to call the opportunity details page? Okay. Feel free to use the chat as well. If you'd like to put something in the chat, I'll try to monitor that if you would like to ask any questions there. Okay, now I'm in this opportunity. So it's Sandy Shender. So it's now linked right to that contact, and it says buyer because this is a buyer side opportunity. Okay. Now there's several ways actually to get back to this screen right here. I could actually go to Sandy's contact record, click on the tab opportunities, and I'd be able to click right there and get back to this screen without having to go into that pipeline tool and look for it, right? But I also could go into that pipeline tool and find the card that says Sandy Shender, click on it, and get back to this screen. All right, getting to this screen is very important. All right, you have to make sure you understand how to get to this screen because this is kind of the mothership of where everything happens. So right now we're on the details tab here, and you'll see that we have details, buyer profile, documents, offers, commissions, notes, and timeline. Right, so these different tabs up here. Today's class is going to focus on these middle 3 tabs. So documents, offers, and commissions. Right, so this is where you are going to upload your documents for your compliance check. We'll add in the details of your ratified offer. We'll submit your commission request or your green sheet. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, that's kind of the order that we're going to go in inside of this opportunity. Any questions on this so far? I want to make sure we don't lose anybody before we get into the next step, because now we're going to get into some stuff. Yeah, Ronnie.
Under documents, are there already documents in there, or you have to upload it?
Okay, so good question. So let's go ahead and jump over there now. Okay, so you can fill out some additional details and stuff in this section. The one thing I want to point out here is this section right here, property. Once Sandy goes under contract and is going to be buying a property, right? Make sure you put in that address right here, because the commission request needs to be linked to an address. Okay, so you can put that address in right here in property, and right, it'll link that property to the commission request. All right.
The commission request is the. I'm sorry, I stepped on you.
Sorry, no, it's okay. It's just a little pop question.
Yeah.
So I know that there's like different commission rates when it comes to working with the buyers based on the property.
Yes.
So when you went in and you put in that commission before, that can be changed?
Exactly. So that commission we put in when we created the opportunity is just a revenue projection tool, right? So it's saying, hey, Sierra, if you closed all these deals, you might make about 30 grand, okay? When we get to the offer section, you will specify what your commission is on the deal that you've ratified, and then the calculations for the commission will be done off of that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep, good question. All right, Ronnie, back to you, and then we're going to move forward.
I forgot.
No worries. All right, so now we're going to jump over into the documents tab here. So this is what it looks like, okay? It says to start with an opportunity, please select a checklist type first. Now this is different per market center. So just realize there might be a little bit of difference here, but everything should be just about the same. So over on the left-hand side, it says pick checklist type. Okay, you with me on that? Now, the Fairfax Market Center is licensed in Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. Obviously, different documents are required per jurisdiction. If you're in the Richmond office, as an example, you're only going to see Virginia. Loudoun Gateway, only Virginia. Okay? So in this case, let's say I'm working with Sandy and she's in Virginia. I would select that. And once I do, here comes the compliance checklist. Okay? So these are not documents that are going to be filled out by you. I'll get to that in just a second, right? This is, hey, over here, and this is what I want to point out, and a lot of people were used to this in .loop. There are, okay, 2 folders. Consultation is your agency documents. Buyer agency, useful information, right? Some of these different disclosures that need to be signed. Then there's an under contract folder, and that's where you're going to see the purchase agreement, the tax record. Okay, so it's the same thing on the listing side. The first folder is going to be for your agency documents. The second folder here is going to be done for your purchase. So obviously, right, we're going to turn in all of our agency documents, submit them to the market center, get an approval on that. And then whenever we take Sandy out and she finds a house and we get ratified, then later on, I would upload the purchase agreement here and submit that folder, right? So we're not waiting till both of them are done. You're going to submit the folder as you get the agency documents in. Okay, so that's how you get this checklist here. Now to Ronnie's question. Yeah, go ahead, Ronnie.
So that step that we had earlier on where you put the address in, you can change that, right? Because if you have a buyer, you may look at 4 different properties and the address that you put in might not be the address that buyer buys.
Yeah, so my advice would be don't put a property address in there until you're in a ratified agreement, meaning like everyone's agreed on a contract and we're moving forward to closing. Now, absolutely, there are times where that contract is going to fall apart, right? And we need to, maybe we're going to go out and look for a second property for that buyer, and I'll talk about what to do in that situation. Okay. Now listen, guys, when we take this next step here, we're going to be uploading completed documents. So we're going to be uploading completed buyer agency paperwork. What I mean by that is Anything in between these steps here, meaning I need to go get my buyer agency agreement, or I need to get signatures on that, or I need to send that to my buyer, all of that is the DocuSign class, okay? So I'm teaching that again tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, and I put the video in the chat here for the class, and I'll post it again. So we're not going to go into DocuSign and get all of our documents signed, okay? We're going to fast forward here a little bit for the compliance purpose, and where we're at now is we have completed signed documents by my client, Sandy, the broker, or myself. Okay, everybody with me? Now realize that the broker only signs the agency agreement. The broker doesn't see useful information. The broker doesn't see these other things. So we're just doing our normal compliance upload now, turn in all those documents. Everybody okay with this? Everybody know where we are? Now in Richmond, you guys don't use DocuSign, right? You guys use AuthentiSign for your contracts. So everyone, we can all be on the same page when we get to this point. All right, so we all have signed agreements wherever they came from, and now we're at the point where we need to turn everything into our office. Okay, so under the consultation folder, the agency folder, you see these different line items of what needs to be turned in. This checklist can be different per market center. So yours may not be exactly what mine looks like, but it's saying I need to turn in my buyer agency paperwork, my useful information form, my Sum 1 agreement, my McLean disclosure. Okay, these are all the things that I need to turn in. So if you have got that in a PDF format, right? So let's say maybe you filled this out and had to complete it in Dotloop or AuthentiSign, okay, one of those other systems, and you download it as a PDF, you can simply go in here into buyer agency paperwork, click add a file, right? And manually upload that PDF right here into this Dropbox, okay? So I downloaded that file, I can come in here and I can say, oh, this is it, right? Open, and I can assign it. And now you will see it says buyer agency paperwork, and it shows you that there is a PDF attached, right, to that line item, okay?
Quick question.
Yes.
So when from here we go DocuSign to bring that document. So over there, I don't see the form SUM1 in a 541 account. So we should go for only 4 form because here is showing 5.
Okay. So here, right? So in some of the different market centers, and this is different per requirement, but for the buyer side in most of our market centers now, we are requiring either the Sum 1 or the residential property disclosure statement, one or the other. Okay, VIBS. Kind of quickly to answer your question here is in DocuSign, that form is in the VAR library, okay? So you should see your library VAR, and if you type in Sum 1, you should see that document right there, okay? Now, the reason I opened this DocuSign room very quickly is, and I'm not gonna go through adding all of my different documents to DocuSign, but if you take that class, this makes sense to you. Okay, I have a DocuSign room that is now attached to this opportunity, right? And that's where I have my buyer agreement that was signed and all the rest of it. So if I click on add a file here for Sum 1, right, notice that DocuSign is integrated into Command. And so you will see a radio button here that says DocuSign. And instead of downloading documents from DocuSign and re-uploading them here, I can simply click on DocuSign. It'll show me all of the available signed documents over in that room. And all I have to do is click on it, click assign, and it'll also add it to the line item just like it did with the manual upload of the PDF. Okay, so the ultimate goal here is you need to get your document into this line. And whether it's coming from your computer or from DocuSign, it's really up to you. You have both option of bringing those documents in and uploading them for your compliance check. Okay, so useful information. Let's say I go ahead and I upload a document to useful information. Let's say it's this one here. All right, and I click assign. And then McLean disclosure, same thing, right? Let's say I go ahead and I add a couple documents here. Now, a quick little tip. You see that I'm clicking these one by one, right? So add a file, add a file. There's a great little shortcut up here. It says attach multiple files. Okay, you guys might have seen that little radio button right here. It says attach multiple files. And, right, if I had all my files right here, I could quickly grab my different documents, right? So instead of clicking on each individual button, it gives me an opportunity to kind of create, you know, it a little bit faster and attach some of those documents in. So that's kind of your Your pro version of just add a file is add multiples at a time. All right, let's go ahead and stop there. So any questions on attaching a file in here for your agency documents? Everybody good? All right, so if we had everything signed, right, at this point, all I have to do now is, as an agent, is go right here. It says submit to Market Center. Again, make sure your Zoom video is not over top of it. Go ahead and click submit to Market Center. It'll say, okay, are you sure you want to submit this for review? You can click that button, submit. Okay, and now your folder will say consultation submitted, which means now it's over on to the compliance brokers. It's now their responsibility to take a look at that. You have done everything that you need to at that point. Okay. Now I get this question a lot, and I want to point this out. This is kind of a little bit of a tool, and then we'll go back to the compliance aspect of it. On this screen here, you see where it says custom folders right below here, right? So the only things that should be uploaded into these two checklists are things that need to be turned into the Market Center, right? So what are some examples of some documents you all might have that you want to keep as part of this transaction that don't necessarily need to be turned into the broker? Give me some examples.
A home inspection?
Yeah, right. So like a home inspection report. Okay. So you don't upload those types of things into these folders. You all have the ability to use this though. You have unlimited document storage basically in here. So if this deal for Sandy, if I had a home inspection, there's a section here that says custom folders, and I can click on add new custom folder, and I'll just name it like, you know, miscellaneous documents maybe, create folder. And now if I click on that folder, it allows me to add in different documents, right? So I can add in some different documents. I'll just say this is a inspection document, and this is the home inspection. And then again, I can upload that document in here from my computer, click add, and now it's forever saved in this little folder. Okay. A year from now, Sandy calls and says, hey, don't you happen to have that inspection report? You can recall this opportunity, even if it's closed, go back and search it, go in your miscellaneous documents, and this will be hosted right here, and you'll be able to download it from here. All right, and you can obviously create multiple custom folders. So if you're on a team or something along those aspects and you guys want to do something specific, you can create as many folders as you need to within that opportunity. Any questions on custom folders? Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump over to the broker side really quickly. Okay, so you guys don't have the ability to do this, obviously, so you can just watch my screen if you want real fast. But as a broker now, right, I would go into what the leadership has, which is called Command MC, and I would click on opportunities, and I'm going to look at opportunities that have been turned in the Fairfax Gateway Market Center. Okay, and I've got one compliance request, and it's right here. Right, so I'm being flagged as the compliance broker that Kyle Holleran has turned in an opportunity for Sandy Shender to be reviewed, which is the action we just took. So I, as the broker, would click review here. Okay, I can see all the different documents have been added, and now I have the opportunity to come in here and review all of the different documents that you turned into me. Now, these are obviously the PDFs I attached, right? So these aren't actually going to be files, but I can come in and say approve, right? That document looks good, right? And I can actually come in and say, yep, this one looks good here. Let's approve that one. This one looks good here. Let's go ahead and approve that. DocuSign, McLean disclosure. Oh, missing an initial, right? So I can reject this document and say missing initial. Okay. And then finally here, maybe this final one I'll do approve on. I went through and looked at that and I clicked approve, right? So now you can see everything's been approved, but this item right here, okay, for whatever reason. So I, as the broker now, would then return this back to you, okay? And you all, if you have Kelly downloaded, you all should be able to see here, right here, I just got a compliance request. So as an agent, it says for Sandy Shender, it's been returned. Okay, so make sure your Kelly notifications are turned on, because that's how you get information about what's happening with your compliance request. Okay, so now I'm going to jump back over to the agent side of things. you're also going to get a notification up here on the little bell. So if I look at this little bell as an agent, it's telling me, hey, my compliance has been returned for my opportunity with Sandy. You can click right on this notification. It will take you right back into your compliance checklist to see what you've done wrong. Okay, so it takes me right back here. And now this is the view as an agent. I can see that everything's been approved except for this. And if I hover over this little bubble, it's telling me the reason why it's been returned to me, right? Missing initial. So in that case, Sandy would go correct that error, right? She would come back in here and she would replace this document, right, with the new version that has the initial on it, replace it, right? That turns to replaced, and now she can resubmit this back to the Market Center so that they can check that one document. Okay, everybody with me on that? All right, so let me jump over here really quickly and I'll just show you now what it looks like when it's been approved. So I'll come into compliance requests and I'll come to Fairfax. Review. Okay, I will approve this document now. We have the new initial, right? And now I have the ability to come in here and say approved, right? And you can now see that it turns to green. So again, I just got another Kelly notification saying Sandy Schender compliance has been approved. And if I look up here now at this notification bell, I also have Sandy Schender has been approved. Okay, so I can click on that and now we can see that our agency folder, right, is approved. So this is your goal, is you want this green check mark right there. Okay. Now, Sandy's a picky buyer. I take her out. We look at 437 houses, right? We finally settle on one and we ratify a contract. So I go to under contract and we repeat that process, right? So now I'm uploading my purchase agreement, the tax record of the property that we're ratified on, right? And then these are conditionally required, right? Financing addendum, residential property disclosure, so on and so forth, right? So again, you just repeat that process with now your contract documents. And again, you click submit to Market Center and you go through that compliance procedure again. Okay. So let me go ahead and add a file here really quickly, and then I'll just approve this so you can see what it ultimately needs to look like. All right, I'd submit this to the Market Center. You can see that, you know, this one's been approved and now this one's submitted. So the tags, right, will tell you exactly what's going on here. So again, one more time, and the last time I'll jump over here and I will act as the broker to approve the request. All right. So this has been submitted. So I'm now going to come look at this one, approve, and approve. Final notification here, get back to that opportunity. Okay, so now I've got my agency folder approved and my under contract folder approved. This is the goal that you must meet in order to get paid. Any statuses other than this, the MCA will not release the check. Everybody with me? So we need to work together with the compliance brokers to make sure that that is, you have approval, and that should be done obviously far before that the check gets to the Market Center. All right. Now, a common question that comes up here, and then we'll take a quick stop, and then we'll move on to the commission aspect of it. A question comes up, which is, I got my agency paperwork done with Sandy, and we turned that in. Great, that was approved. Now, Sandy and I went out and looked at all those homes. We wrote a contract, and we turned all that in. Great, everything was approved. Now we go to do the walkthrough inspection, and the house had a major leak, and the deal falls apart. Right, so that house is donezo. Everyone agrees to cancel the contract. Right now, what do I do? All right, who knows the answer to this in command? Does anyone know the answer of how we move forward in that situation here?
Call Kyle. No.
All right, so Ollie, do you have it? I saw Wally unmuted himself. I thought he might have it.
Nope.
Okay. So here's what happens, right? Is my agency documents with Sandy still good? Yes, right? I don't need to worry about my buyer agency agreement. All that's still the same. That's all good. This is what changed, the under contract section, okay? So what I do is instead of going back and replacing all of these documents that have already been approved by the broker, right up top here, you see it says under contract, right? Right here, it says under contract. And I have the ability to click this button and create a new version. Okay, so we go out and we ratify on house number 2. I can come in here and under contract, I would say new version, and I can put the address maybe, right? 2405 Autumn View Way, right? Maybe that's the second house that she's going to contract on. I can click on create new version, and you see that it clears out the under contract folder and allows me to now upload all of my documents for contract number 2 and now submit those to the Market Center for your final compliance review. Okay, so you're not deleting the opportunity. It's the same opportunity, just like a loop, right? Think of it that way. You'd have one loop and you just create a new folder. You're doing the same thing here, right? You're just creating a new folder underneath of under contract. Any questions on that procedure?
Do we require to delete the first contract?
You're not required to, and you shouldn't delete it. You should keep it for compliance purposes, right? Even if it fell apart. And notice here that if I click on this drop down again, I can always go back to that first version and see all of those documents, Viv. So they just basically save for you in the opportunity, right? So you can always get to them, but you move forward now with the new version. Okay, good question. Nice ringtone, Wally. All right, any questions on that? All right, let's keep moving forward now. So we've turned everything in, right? I'm gonna go back to this version here because this is what it's gonna look like. So now I'm approved. This closed folder, just for your information, you all do not need to put anything in this folder. Most of our MCAs will go in, right? They would in dot loop and they would upload like the CD or some of the closing paperwork that we got from the title company on your behalf. So that's what this would be used for. So if your MCA would go in and they've got access to this opportunity, they will upload any closing documents into that closed folder for your reference if you need to down the line. Okay, so you all do not need to use this as agents most likely. All right, now the last part of this is, let me pull back up my, let me see if I can pull back up my slide here. Nope, I got rid of it. All right, so the next part of this is a two-step process. I mentioned this. So offers and commissions are going to work together. Notice that I cannot click on the commissions tab here, right? And if I hover over this little I, it says you will be able to view your commission once you have an accepted offer. Okay, so step 1, step 2. So we're going to go to the offers section. Now, those of you guys who have done green sheets before, it asks for sales price, it asks for earnest money deposit, it asks for seller's name, buyer's name, right? It's the same questions just asked in this section, right? So it's no additional work. It's just kind of asked you before. So here's what I do. Offer timeline. So I don't have any offers here. I have the ability to click on add a new offer. I can call this maybe ratified offer. Click create offer. So to create this offer, we need to do these 4 steps. All right, step 1 is, name it and then your offer date. So let's say the offer date was 12/4 and the close date is scheduled for 12/31. And again, here, they've put this nice little prompt in here where you can search for the property address, right? So this will actually populate that address section for you if you wanted to use this here too, okay, instead of in the details tab. So that's great now. So I'll click to step number 2 is now parties. Okay, it brought in Sandy's and my information. So the seller, you might, have this information, you might not. I'll say the seller is Vibs, right? Bhushan, and the associate's name representing him was Margie Flynn. Okay, and we'll go to terms. So step number 3, right? $50,000 down payment, let's say, and he's offering $450,000 financing for a sales price of $500,000. He's paying a 1% earnest money deposit, no closing costs, and I can just click here and say save. All right, so that's it. You just saw names, sales price, earnest money deposit amount. When I create that offer, here it is here. So it gives me some of those details, Vibs, Margie. And then it says accept or reject. So if this was your ratified offer, your next step would be to hit accept offer. Okay. When I click accept offer, notice that the commissions tab now just opened up. It's now clickable. It's no longer grayed out. I can click on that commissions tab. And then here is all of the actual information. All right, and I can edit any of this. So here's where it brought in that commission rate. I think Sierra might have asked this question. Here's where it brought in that commission rate. So I can click edit general information and I can change any of this. So on this deal, if I ended up, taking 3%, they offered me 3% on this deal, I can change my commission rate there to 3% or $15,000. Okay. Contract date is ratified date. All right. And that doesn't fill in anywhere. So you always have to go in here and put in your ratified date, basically. So make sure you do that and then click save. Yeah, go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah, Kyle, is there any issue if you have to change your close date? Because I took a class with Cheryl and there was still a glitch on there. Was that corrected?
So what it is there's 3 dates. Okay. This contract date, you always have to hit edit general information and fill in the contract date. Okay. The first one asks what's the I forget what the question is on the offers tab. Let's go back and look. Offer date. Okay, so that's date. That's the first question. It says, what's the offer date? All right. Then what's the close date?
Right.
So in the offers tab, they never ask for the contract date, which is your ratification date, basically. Okay. So that's why you've always got to go in here and click edit general information. But if you put it in there, it should clear out the error and you then should be able to submit this commission request.
Okay.
Okay. Now, that's your details up top here. Here's my payment information. So it's talking to Winmore and telling you, what your cap information is. All right. So I haven't paid any company dollar in because I just actually started my year over again. Right. So I just rolled over in my anniversary date. So it's showing you that I haven't paid in any cap on either my royalty or my company dollar here. Now, up here, it says add another agent or add a co-broker payment. So there's usually a couple things sometimes on a green sheet that people would add in, right? Either I'm going to pay out another agent in my office on this deal, right? Or someone on my team. Maybe it's you took a bonus of some sort or an admin fee of some sort. So we need to add that money in here. Or let's say maybe you got a referral. So we need to add in that we need to pay out our referral partner, right? I think those are some common situations we see when it comes to a commission request. So if you look at this commission request, it says Kyle here. Here's the option of adding another agent. So it says payment, add another agent. This will show you any agent in your market center. Okay, so if I was going to pay Margie a referral fee, as I start typing in people's names, here comes all the agents in this Fairfax Gateway Market Center that matches with, and I can type in Margaret Flynn, right? And now I can pay her a portion of my commission. Do we see that? So that's how you are able to pay out an agent in your market center if you guys are splitting a commission. The second situation was, let's say it's just me. Edit payment information. So this is my information. Here's where I can make my donations to KW Cares. If some of you that do make that donation, you are still allowed to do that on the commission request here. At the bottom, notice it says extra payment options, referrals, bonuses, deductions, concessions. So if you charge an admin fee of some sort, you come in here and say add an item, and you might say that's a bonus, and I got a bonus of $500 potentially on this transaction. Okay, so that is how you would add in extra funds if they were coming in. Then the third situation there we mentioned was a potential referral. So again, notice here under payment, it says add co-broker payment. That's your referral. So if I click this add co-broker payment, it says, okay, how much commission are you paying out to that co-broker? And you're able to put in the information. So Keller Williams Manassas, pay to the agent, right? And then the agent name or pay to the office. And then that way the MCA has that information when they go to cut the checks, right? They've got that information in there about who that referral partner is. Okay. Once you make sure that all of these details are filled out and everything balances out and all the numbers make sense, there shouldn't be any errors right here. If there were any errors, as an example, let's say I go in here and can I clear this date? I don't know if I can. Yeah, I don't think I can, right? But if you hadn't cleared out or put in that contract date yet, you would see an error right here. And you might have seen it when I first clicked onto this page. Once you clear those errors, the submit button highlights, and now I can submit that to my market center and my MCA. All right. You do still have the ability here to click an add note. So if there's something you want to communicate back and forth with the MCA, just like you could on a green sheet, you could say, hi, this is a personal transaction, blah, 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 and make sure that everyone remembers what's going on with this transaction if you have to relay those notes to somebody. Okay. And then same thing, this will be accepted or rejected by the MCA, either kicked back to repair something or accepted, and now it's been imported into Winmore. So a question I commonly get here is, you're not going to see the full breakdown here of like your B-poll tax and such, right? All of that is done on a state-by-state basis. So those numbers are factored in on the backside, just like they are today in Winmore. Okay, so when you get your commission breakdown, you'll see some of those extra deductions taken out, okay, for taxes and things. All right, so that's the process, right? That's the new compliance, turning things in, getting approved, turning in your commission request. So when the check comes into the market center, the MCA is going to look for your commission request, and if it's approved, she'll have that information, or he. They'll then go to the documents section. They will look and it'll say approved, and hopefully here it'll say approved again, right? And if it says approved, approved, they then process that commission check. If we're missing something here, right? If it looks like this and it looks like they're not going to pay it out, right? And then they're sending an email to everybody trying to figure out what needs to be done in order for this to be approved. Okay, so create a contact. Create the opportunity. Documents tab is your compliance upload. 2 folders here to do that in. Keep in mind we have a custom folder to add miscellaneous documents into. Create your offer, accept that offer, complete your commission tab, and then submit. Questions, comments, concerns?
Question, if I created a document which is filled for the buyer representation, is it possible same information I can copy for the second one, and whatever necessary I can, delete and fix it?
You're talking about forms, Vibs?
Yeah, this already filled, because every time I'm not gonna fill my information, so.
There is a release set between either today or January 18th, or sorry, December 18th. So sometime this week in DocuSign that will allow agents to create custom templates, which is what you're asking about. So that feature is coming this week at some point, and I'll be doing some videos. If you join a DocuSign training after it's released, I'll be teaching that as part of that class.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kyle, I have a question.
Yes.
If we have recent contracts on .loop, should we resubmit them into Command now?
Yeah, so it's really a timing thing. Okay. So the question really is so if you have things closing between now and January 15th, right? Just close everything out on .loop, right? I talked to an agent this morning, and they have like a couple buyer agency agreements, right? But no contract, and no contract kind of forthcoming. I mean, that stuff might be smart to bring over just so you finish the whole process on command. But if you've turned things in for compliance and they've been approved over there, right, we'll just quickly approve them here so that everything's kind of in line. So, it's kind of a mixed answer there, Sandy. Don't bring over like everything from .loop though, right? I don't want people to also go do a bunch of work. I mean, the mindset I want people to have is if you are going to meet a buyer, at some point, or a seller in the next week or two, like start it in command, right? We just are trying to get everyone to start tailing off on .loop. That's kind of the best answer I can give.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Some market centers like Richmond are already off of .loop. So if you're on here from that market center and you're hearing that, like, you have no option. You are strictly on command. Same with Manassas. Other questions there? All right, kind of last thing I'll show you then to wrap this up is I'm just going to go back over to the buyers. Let me go back over to the contact record here. I showed you Sandy. So let me just show you real fast that if I go into her contact record. Give it one sec here, sorry. All right, so Sandy. guess I can just finish typing your name. That would help. So,
I think here they have an arrow button. We can put first name, last name, and all.
what's that, Vibs?
It's where we searching a tab. They have a 3 option. You can choose by
Yeah,
first
first
name,
name,
last
yeah.
So
All right,
that's
so in Sandy's profile is what I would kind of show you, right? It all kind of defaults to the timeline when you look at a contact profile. But if I'm working with Sandy and I need to jump in here, quickly and get to my documents and do all those things, notice in her contact profile, there is an opportunities tab. I've got a number 1 there showing me that we have an opportunity together. And if I simply click this link right here, it takes me into that details tab where we were working on everything for the whole compliance procedure. All right, so kind of a quick way to get to somebody or someone's opportunity from there. Okay. Same content as today. So Kim, you just asked a question. Yeah, it is the exact same class over and over and over again. Here's what I would ask you guys to go do. Go try it, right? You can go all the way up to submitting the document to the Market Center if you're doing like a fake one, but go try it and then come back to the class and tell us where you got stuck, right? And that's what we had on the DocuSign class yesterday. And some people asked some really good questions that only come up if you're working the system. So yes, exact same class. I do have my one-on-one link, right? Booktimewithkyle.com if you need to jump on and ask me something very specific for your team, but that's the case for that. All right, well, I got you guys here. I posted this on my my KW Alliance technology page, but let me just show this to you. So I created a 2-step smart plan that all of you could go utilize in Command if you wanted to. All right, because I shared it to the library. So here's what this smart plan does. So it will send an email as soon as you put everyone on the smart plan, and it would pull out their first name from the contact record. So imagine this, right? I send this out to 500 people in my database, and I add them all to the smart plan today. It would send out and it would say, "Hi, Sandy. Hope you've had a healthy and successful year given the circumstances. Just wanted to reach out and see if you had any goals of buying, selling, or investing in real estate in 2021. The market in our area was very strong this year, fueled by low interest rates. We look forward to helping as many families as we can in 2021. I recently compiled a list of vendors in our area that can help assist with everything from refinancing to gutter cleaning. If you want me to send a copy, let me know." Okay, so that's the first email. Then it delays 5 days or 6 days, right? So if you think about it, if you set everyone up on this today, they would get something on December 21st, 22nd, somewhere in that time frame, and it would be this email, which is a KW templated email that they provide to you. That looks like this. Let me pull it in, right? It'll fill in the Market Center name and all of your information from your marketing profile. So make sure all that's done. But again, this is all pre-populated for you. So dear Sandy, right? Hope you have a great holiday season, blah, blah, blah. A link there to download your mobile app. So that's the second email that goes out. So the first one goes out, delays 6 days, then that one goes out, right? So you can go in bulk and add all of your contacts to this smart plan and get 2 touches in with all of those people before the end of the year. Okay, and look how simple I've made this. So if you go into your command, go into your smart plans, you have 2 libraries. You have my smart plans and you have the library section. If you go to the library section, I published that smart plan. So all you have to do is go add it to your library, and then you can add your contacts directly to it. So come to library in the smart plans. Right here, there's a search bar, search by author name, and come over here and you're going to click in you're going to type in my last name. So HOLLORAN. Now this takes about 10 to 15 seconds to load. I know it does. It looks like it freezes. Just leave it here for a second, right? Just takes it a while to kind of go through the smart plans and figure out, the one that's attached to me. So we'll give it a second here and it'll find it. There it goes. So there it is, right? 2-step holiday smart plan. And all you have to do is click add smart plan, and it'll move it from the library over into your smart plans, right? And now it'll be available to you right here. And then if you don't like the paragraph that I wrote, if you thought that was stupid and you wanted to change it, once it's in your smart plans, you can click this edit button and you can change it, right? Or if you just wanted to go with what I already have in there, you could immediately go back to your contacts here, right? And this is the best way to, I think, to add people to that smart plan. You can then go back to your contacts. Remember that you can either filter your contacts, so filter it down to Sphere or A's, or just your entire database, right? Some people just said, I'm just going to send this out to everybody. remember that you can view your database in groups of 500 now. So what I showed was I went up to the top right corner and I said, show me up to 500 people. I can do a select all. So I click this select all button, use my bulk action, add everyone to the smart plan. And you guys will see then once you add it into your library, you'll see where it says your 2-step holiday smart plan, click select, and boom, there you go, right? 500 people are gonna get that first email, and then 5 or 6 days from now, they'll get that second one wishing them a happy holidays. Okay, so I'm going to try to start working on some more smart plans like that, and we can all work together as a team and build smart plans and share them with each other. So, you know, literally in less than a minute, go to the library, add it to your library, add people to the smart plan. That's all you have to do. Maybe it's not your close friends. If that feels like, hey, that's a weird email to send to my close people, go find all the leads you met at open houses this year that are tagged open house lead and go blast that smart plan on them. Right? Because if you're not getting a lot of responses from them anyway, who cares? But we get a lot of good responses this time of year for what's your goal next year, right? In real estate. So it's a perfect time of year to hit that conversation. It's an easy one to have. Try to make that as easy as I can for you in Command. All right. Any questions on that?
Kyle, I don't have a question on that, but I have another question. So the old system, I'm a new agent, so I'm kind of learning this while kind of seeing what the old system used to contain, which there used to be a QR code capability so you could collect data. Is there going to be at any point a way for you to collect client data using a QR code digitally at some point where it integrates into Command, or is that just going to be solely reliant on the KW app and having them download that? And
well, so the QR code that we used to have with the old system simply took them to the download link for your app. Right? So like actually them scanning that QR code didn't capture their information.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Now, what you can do though is, this is an example of, I have my KW website set up, right? And I have on here, one of my pages, which is one of the generic pages that everyone gets, is a contact me page. Okay. Or maybe contact us or something like this. It looks like this, right? All right. Well, if you go to just like online, if you just like Google, right? Online QR code generator or reader, let's say generator. Let's go this one here, right? I can put in a web address, so maybe something like this. So it's going to be this URL. I can copy that and put that into here, and it'll create a QR code for me. And now I can maybe send that to people and say, scan this and submit your information to me, or whatever it is you're going to try to use. And when they scan that, instead of taking them somewhere generic, it'll land them right on this like lead capture form. So hopefully that helps, Angela.
It does. Thank you.
Yep. 4 minutes left. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. we're doing DocuSign again. And then Thursday at 1 p.m. we're repeating this class again. We're going to do compliance. So if you want to go try it, give it a shot, get stuck somewhere, jump back on one of those classes between now and January 15th. And we'll make sure that you're moving in the right direction.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, buddy. Hope you have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.